What up? How is everybody tonight? Welcome to the Saturday stream. We got some tidbits to go over tonight. Nothing huge, as is unfortunately to be expected, as we are coming up to the holidays and everything slows down in Hollyweird. So, and that includes nerdy news. Got some tidbits to go over tonight. Nothing huge. But I'll tell you what I don't have in the way of news is nothing. I found stuff. I got like my tabs lined up with all my stories. It's pretty cool. So you know what to do now, right? If you've been around, you'd know. But if you're new, let me tell you. You fill your cup. You light your smoke. And then you sit back and get ready for me to douse nerdiness all over you. It's Saturday night. You fill your cup. You light your smoke. And then you sit back and get ready for me to douse nerdiness all over you. It's Saturday night. You fill your cup. You light your smoke. And then you sit back and get ready for me to douse nerdiness all over you. It's Saturday night. You fill your cup. You light your smoke. And then you sit back and get ready for me to douse nerdiness all over you. What's up, everybody? Yes, I know I'm still on this screen. It's on purpose because I just noticed my cat knocked my camera out, so brace yourself for nothing. Or frozen. Frozen is what we got. Okay. I thought it was going to be that. What's up, everybody? Yes. Do we have motion? Yay! Okay, then. Hello. Good evening. A smoke you shall have. Excellent. What is going on, chat? How are y'all tonight? What is going on, lurkers? What is going on, people who clicked on my replay? How y'all doing? I hope you're all doing well. We got a little bit of stuff to talk about. Not a lot. Nothing earth-shattering. No massive scoops or reveals or anything. But, you know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Right? So, what's up, chat? Got Noah. Hey, I just dropped my phone and ended up here. I guess it was meant to be. Yes. Noah, it was your destiny. Hashtag floor humper. Jesus Christ. What's up, Griff? What's up, Brooke? What's up, Matthew? I already heard like 100 times there would be a Superman trailer. At this point, I'm not expecting anything. Well, I'm actually not talking about a trailer or lack thereof because I did on Wednesday. This is different. Believe it or not. Yes. You have that smoke, Sir Griff. What's up, Brooke? Got back into gaming. You want to finish? Oh, the GTA 4 DLC. No, it says I think it's coming the week of the 16th from what I've heard. Yes, but only for press still. No for us. Really want to finish more of the games I bought for 2025? Yeah. I mean, you didn't buy them to look at them on the shelf, did you? No, it says I think it's coming the week of the 16th from what I've heard. Yes, but watched one of Rob's videos on Darkseid. Really hoping to see him in DCU live action. Well, I will say this. If James Gunn doesn't fuck Superman up and the DCU manages to keep going, I can almost guarantee there will be Darkseid at some point. How fast he'll get there? Probably not quickly. Probably not quickly. But you're hearing double. Oh, I know why. God damn it. Because I forgot to do that. Okay. Yep. That'll fix it. All done. Matthew says, Gunn says a lot, and he says a lot of nothing. When a trailer drops, I'll watch. Until then, it's just speculation. I mean, yeah. But, like, I literally put speculation in my channel description. So it's what I'm gonna do. Rook says there's 2 DLCs for GTA 4. Finished most of the Lost and Damned DLC. There's also the Ballad of Gay Tony, which I want to finish as well. Well, that sounds like an interesting story. Story about Gay Tony. And it says, I mean, at least he's promising they're locking in a final edit and gave them an extra year to do the effects, so at least it's not the Flash. Yes, that all of that is good. Like, honestly, I mostly only dog James Gunn when he speaks. Well, no, that's not true, because I absolutely fucking hate the Suicide Squad. It's literally on the same low level as Love and Thunder for me. Like, it's the, God damn it, Cat, what are you doing? No, you cannot play with my headphone speakers from behind the fucking monitor. Get. Excuse me. Oh, he did it. You fucking did it again, bro. Now, get. I do not know what his deal is lately. Normally, he's the calm one. Too soon? Nope. All right, cool. Womp. Any hoodles. Grove says, do you plan on trying out Rivals? It's been pretty fun so far. Not usually my type of game. I think it looks really dope. If, I don't know. I may give her a shot. I may download it just to say I have a Marvel game. I mean, I'm that kind of guy. But, I don't know. I may give her a go. You'll probably never see me in this situation doing it, though. Do I gotta do that thing again? I just noticed something. I'm having a Josh moment, but it's about my video, not my audio. So bear with me here. I thought I was like, no! Yeah, no, that's what I was supposed to do. I don't know. The fuck. Anyway. Dare I? Are we still moving? Ha! It worked. Manny says, I did hate that as much as I hated the first one. My brother said I was crazy. Well, he's wrong. Because I can at least tolerate Ayer's Suicide Squad. Like, I thought that one was aight. But the gun one is the flaming is a big flaming pile of Triceratops shit. Like, you know, that big pile from the first Jurassic Park. Light that on fire, and there's the Suicide Squad. You're talking about the Ayers one had one amazing scene? I think it had a few decent scenes. Like, Deadshot extorting many more millions out of the motherfuckers that were already paying him. It was pretty cool. Brooks says, I tried out the tutorial section of Marvel Rivals, and played around a bit with the characters. Cool. Rob says, I missed Wednesday. Can you give me the 15-second opinion of Skeleton Crew? Yes, I watched it yesterday. Okay. I don't know if I can get it done in 15 seconds, but visuals were good. It's painfully obvious who they want us to think Jude Law's character is. The plethora of 80s tropes was smacking me about in a very pleasant way. I love SM33. They actually put a good fucking mystery into this with the nature of the planet. Oh, thank you. That's fine, but thank you. Mrs. Chillin baked cookies, and she could only handle half of hers because she's sugar sensitive, which means these are, well, I can already tell you because I've had two. These are fucking good. You should be jealous. Perfectly crispy on the outside, perfectly soft on the inside, and it's chocolate with and peanut butter chips in this motherfucker. Oh, yeah. And they're brown butter, not regular. Yeah, it's brown butter cookies. Oh, my God. So, yeah. I'm enjoying Skeleton Crew. It's got a lot of things I like. Do I wish there was... I hope there's going to be more force out of Jude Law's character. Like, I hope that wasn't just a little baby tease and we're going to get another Star Wars show with, like, next to no force in it. If not, zero. So, if they do that again, that'll annoy me a bit, but it's a pretty enjoyable show so far. But, you know, I'm going to say this based on the history of Star Wars over the last 4 or 5 years. There's still 6 episodes for them to fuck it up, so we'll see. Guns Suicide Squad had Harley's hanging escape scene. Well, yes. I mean, I don't remember it that well because I'm only ever going to watch that movie that one time, so. They wasted Idris, but I'm not going to single out Gunn because I've seen him wasted in so many films. I mean, fair. That is fair. Griff says, the great work has me the most curious about Skeleton Crew. Yeah, that is something. I'd like to know what the great work is. I'd like to know how they ended up with such a rigid caste system. I'd love to know how they pulled a Camino. Like, we know Camino got deleted by Dooku, but what the fuck happened with them? I mean, it's obvious that that they've been isolated for probably right around a millennium. So, and why and how that happened is very intriguing. How the ship that they ended up on came to be on that planet at Aten is intriguing. So, to this point, yeah, pretty decent show. Rob says, okay, I think it is a Goonies meets Star Wars vibe. Liking it so far. Well, for me, it's Goonies meets Pirates of the Caribbean meets Star Wars. Because you can't tell me that, what the hell's the name of that goddamn station? Like Bongo or whatever, where they ended up. Basically, the pirate space station, that's motherfucking Tortuga. Period. Like, obviously, if you're adapting pirates into space, ship, you know, you're going to have pirates boarding ships. So that's just kind of general pirate shit. And a pirate base is, but, like, we're talking Disney here. So it's fucking Pirates of the Caribbean plus Goonies. And wrapped in some Star Wars rapping. Give us a bite. I'll let you look at it real close. Brooks says, Skeleton Crew isn't bad. At least I'm willing to invest and see what happens next in the 3rd episode. Yeah. I'm going to watch the whole show regardless. Because, you know, I'm going to. However, I like how they're handling the mystery of that planet. As they keep handling it that well, I'm going to look forward to watching it instead of just going, God damn it, I got to watch this shit. So, you see my Tortuga point? Yeah. Like, it was literally the same thing when they were walking through. Like, fighting pirates, drunk and puking pirates. It was the same shit. Just fewer hookers. Rob says, I don't even care about Jude Law. The kids and Droid would be enough. Well, that tells you right there they nailed the 80s of it. I mean, the tropes are strong with this one. You know what I mean? The tropes are strong with this one. Thank you for chewing with my mouth closed. Yes, you're welcome. And I also leaned back from the mic so the chewing wouldn't be very loud if heard at all. No, I have not seen The Substance, Brooke. I've heard it is really fucking good. Man, he says, I'd love if there was a Star Wars show with a Star Wars vibe. I mean, yeah. Like Flash Gordon meets an Errol Flynn sword fighting flick like the old Star Wars from the 70s and 80s with an empire like Asimov. Yeah. What are you laughing at, Griff? It's about a famous Hollywood star who wants to be young again, takes a substance to become younger, but then it goes downhill. Yeah, it sounds like it would. Waiting for Netflix? Yeah. Like, I literally only go to the theaters for, like, well, it used to be just anything huge and actiony. Now it's basically nerdy, huge and actiony. Yeah, I've heard many good things about The Substance. I feel like it's been talked about for Oscar contention fairly regularly lately. Maybe it says vistas and world building like Dune or backdrops like that, Tatooine. So you're the opposite of Anakin. You love sand. Is that what you're saying? Brooke says, would love a Star Wars horror show on the dark mysteries of the Star Wars universe, to be honest. And Rob says that would be fantastic. I fucking agree. That is a great idea. That's where you could explore, like, the ancient super OP Sith that, like, probably would clear Palpatine in about 5 minutes. You know, your Malguses and those people whose names fucking escape me right now because, you know, I'm on the spot. But y'all know who I mean. That would be the perfect show to explore some of those motherfuckers in. I like it. And it says there's some other such alien worlds that are new, like Tatooine was in 1977, and not now because we've been there like 15 times. You know what? Here's a world that I think in live action has barely been explored. It's been explored in animation, but in live action, you don't get much of Kashyyyk, and I wouldn't mind spending some time in live action on Kashyyyk, like significant time. I love the look of it, and I love Wookiees. So, yeah, give me some Kashyyyk action. I'd be down with that shit. Star Wars meets Alien or Event Horizon, says Rob. Ooh. Shit, what are they called? Star Wars meets Alien, Yuzan Vong. There's your Star Wars meets Alien. Bring in the Yuzan fucking Vong. Griff says, Fate of the Jedi would be a perfect story to introduce audiences to horror with how much Abeloth is at the forefront of the story. Well, I mean, if the speculation from the end of Ahsoka Season 1 is accurate, looks like we're going to get there. No, it says Acolyte had horror elements. Yeah, it was called The Show. Yeah, the Vong, yeah. The last time was the holiday special with the Wookiees. Lucas wanted to smash those tapes. By the way, did you notice that's what the twins were watching when Wim went to get Neil and found him having a Calgon moment? I didn't recognize it at first. Other people pointed it out, but I was like, holy shit. But yeah, I'm pretty sure a return visit to Kashyyyk would be done much more effectively, in a much more acceptable manner, without a creepy, drugged out, pedophile looking grandpa Wookiee. Brooke says, yeah, Star Wars show on Abeloth or the Vong would be dope. Yeah, it would. Or do a trilogy. Like, you can do a trilogy about anything in Star Wars. It doesn't have to be about Skywalkers. You could do, I mean, obviously, including Skywalkers wouldn't hurt. But, yeah, you could do a trilogy about Abeloth. You could do a whole trilogy about the invasion of the Yuuzhan Vong. I mean, come on now. Okay, I'm not going there. I'm not gonna rage. I'm not gonna rage. And Matthew says, and episode 3, but that was a small scene in that. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That was a taste. That was a morsel. I want a goddamn meal of Kashyyyk. Rob says, the holiday special. Not enough weed in the multiverse to get through that pile of crap again. I can't disagree. Griff says, Calgon reference? You're showing our age, sir. No, I was showing my age. You agreeing shows your age. Or you recognizing it and bringing it up shows your age. You did that to yourself, Mr. Griff. Matthew says, Peter Mayhew as a general leading the Wookiees in episode 3, placing a mine on one of the CIS tanks via CGI. Yeah, I loved that shit. Rob says, oh my God, pedophile Wookiee story starring Kevin Spacey. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, my best friend Rob right there. I love him. I honestly, I should have seen that coming. I should have seen that shit coming. Wait a minute. Are my glasses? The fuck? And Anthony Rapp. Oh, bro. Yep, that's what I thought. It's my ears. It's not my glasses. My ears is uneven. See? And my neck is not tilted. This here is definitely lower than this here. Look at that shit. You can see it. Just retell American Beauty with Wookiees. Oh, Jesus, dude. Oh, Robert. Love you, man. Okay. I'm actually kind of glad you asked me about the Skeleton Crew because my first little tidbit is actually related to the Star Wars. This comes from comicbook.com. Ahsoka Season 2 filming start date reportedly revealed. And it's soon. The possible filming start date for Ahsoka Season 2 has been revealed, as the Star Wars show is hoping to begin rolling cameras in April 2025. Production is set to take place in the United Kingdom, marking a departure from the first season, which was shot in Los Angeles. Per IndieWire, the plan is for Ahsoka Season 2 to incorporate, quote, multiple different film techniques, quote, another notable change for the show. Season 1 was filmed in the volume, the revolutionary sound stages used on the likes of The Mandalorian, the Obi-Wan Kenobi, and more. Well, I'll tell you what. Just right off rip, I fucking love the fact that they're not going to use the volume much, and they're filming in the UK. We're actually going to get, like, some location shooting, folks. It's going to look a lot better. And that is dope. Ahsoka Season 1 premiered on Disney Plus in 2023. Originally billed as a limited series, Lucasfilm confirmed a second season was in the works earlier this year. No release date has been set. Dave Filoni, Lucasfilm's chief creative officer, recently confirmed that he is the sole writer on Ahsoka Season 2, just as he was for the show's first season. Much as I like Dave, I'm really hoping he learned a few lessons, especially from episodes 7 and 8. I hope he learned a lot of lessons on how not to finish a season. This lines up with what fans have previously heard about the Ahsoka Season 2 production timeline. Back in September, series star Natasha Liu Bordizzo stated cameras wouldn't roll until Jon Favreau's The Mandalorian and Grogu, which Filoni co-wrote and produced, wrapped. While that movie isn't due in theaters until May 2026, it was reported in October that The Mandalorian and Grogu had completed production. So now it seems like Filoni will be able to focus all of his energies on Ahsoka Season 2, finishing the scripts as he gears up for production. Assuming Ahsoka Season 2 remains on schedule, there should be some substantial updates revealed in the near future. True. Especially starting probably late January to early February, if they are starting in April as reported. To date, there haven't been any casting announcements. While it's to be expected, main players like Rosario Dawson, Bordizzo, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Lars Mikkelsen, Iman Esfandi, and others will return. It'll be interesting to see if there are any new additions to the show. I believe there will be. In particular, the creative team has to decide what to do with Baylan Skoll, who was portrayed by the late Ray Stevenson. Hire Gerard Butler. The character survived Ahsoka Season 1's events, with the finale teasing intriguing developments for him. It's possible the role will be recast. It fucking should be, with Gerard Butler. Lucasfilm looking beyond the volume for Ahsoka Season 2 is a fascinating development, suggesting the series will do some location shooting this time around. Fuck yes. While the volume is an amazing technological achievement representing ILM's next leap forward, it has received some criticisms, bland visuals, limited space, implying that it isn't the be-all, end-all for productions. Diversifying Ahsoka Season 2's filming techniques should help the series feel more cinematic, conveying the tremendous scale and scope synonymous with Star Wars. If Ahsoka Season 2 does begin filming in April, viewers probably won't get to see the episodes until some point in 2026. Yeah, probably summer. As a comparison, Ahsoka Season 1 was in production from May to October 2022, so it's reasonable to assume the second season will follow a similar timeline. Okay, I take that back. Probably, well, let's see, they were in October 2022. So that'd be April to September, a similar timeline. 6 months for post. Maybe May 26. May or June. What that means for Filoni's announced New Republic era movie remains to be seen. That project probably won't move forward in earnest until Ahsoka Season 2 is finished. Well, yeah, because, you know, if Dave's going to be that heavily involved, he can literally, I mean, only to some point can he do more than one project at a time. You know what I mean? And he says, that must be why Superman Returns isn't on 4K, right? Nobody will talk about the director or Spacey, despite neither of them being found guilty of anything. The studio won't go there. I have no fucking idea. For me, I just didn't like that movie very much. Griff says, oh my God. I'm not sure what the context of that is, Griff. Could you clue me in pretty please? I'd love to know. Bailey says, so it won't be all faked in CGI and look like the prequels. Not all of it, no. Definitely less of it than Season 1, for sure. And did y'all notice, like, The Mandalorian used a lot of the volume in Season 1 and 2, but it was just this one guy doing it, and then he left, and then literally everything they did in the volume after that sucked. So that also didn't help. Evidently, there was only one dude who could really utilize that puppy properly. And he took off, and then we got Obi-Wan. Yeah. Rob says, I actually liked Superman Returns. I thought Spacey did a great job. Good actor and total creepazoid. I mean, yes, that is true. Like, I love Spacey's acting, and I'll never not love Spacey's acting when I see it. However, the man has issues, and he needs to deal with them before doing anything of note ever again. Rob says, I do like the idea about the Wookiee Wars. Oh, yeah. And now we've already seen one Wookiee Jedi. I wouldn't mind them bringing back the idea of a Wookiee Jedi, except doing it right this time. You know what I mean? Matthew says, to me, the worst looking fake thing I've ever seen was the digital backdrop and bike scene in Boba Fett. Yeah, Boba Fett had a few issues. Like a panther. Okay. Those colorful Vespas that everyone loves, said Griff. Yeah. Yeah, like the speeder bikes in Skeleton Crew are like much better than the Vespas. Much better than the Vespas. Maybe says the entire city looked worse than old matte painting and a million times more fake. Maybe. Maybe says, I'm fine with Star Wars Joan Jett. The chase scene was less than badass. Are we still talking about Kenobi? I mean, Book of Boba Fett? Mando Season 1 had practical, even motion control and stop motion and animatronics. It did, but it also used a fair chunk of volume. So Ahsoka looks like we're going to be getting much, much less volume. Especially since I don't... Is there volume in the UK? Does anybody know? As far as I know, it's only in LA. And if they're doing all the filming in the UK, or at least a vast majority of it, that means not only will there be less volume, there'll be a very small amount of volume, and that is good. They also built huge backdrops in city streets, real costumes, even recreating props and creatures from the Nelvana cartoon. Cool. And that's a good part of the reason why it looks so fucking good. The other part is the homie, when they were in the volume, knew what the fuck he was doing. And nobody since has. Rob says, Book of Boba Fett, the Donald Trump of Star Wars. It's been so long we forgot just how bad it really was. Yep. Facts. There's them facts right there. Unlike in the prequel, The Clone Troopers, no outfit was made, all CGI. Nice. Very nice. Very, very nice. Okay. Any other thoughts, questions, concerns, comments about this little bit of news on Ahsoka Season 2? All right, on to the next. Did anybody go ahead and watch the 8 minutes of Kraven? The first 8 minutes of the Kraven movie that they dropped. Anybody watch that? Anybody? Matthew says, in episode 2 and 3, no practical suits were made, even though they did bother for Jango because they needed to explain where Boba came from. Yeah, there's a shit ton of CGI in the prequels. Rob says, I haven't watched it yet. Too scared. I mean, that's valid. I did watch it. The action is cool. And we got Slave One as a brand new ship. Yep. The action is cool. The acting is middling at best. It didn't make me think the movie is going to be worse. It also didn't really make me more excited for it either. And it would seem Sony also shares concern about the possible reception of the movie. This is from comicbookmovie.com. Not to be concerned with our first article from comicbook.com. Movie. Anyway. Kraven the Hunter will open in 1,000 fewer theaters than the Sony flops Morbius and Madam Web. The bad news for Kraven the Hunter keeps on coming because box office projections for next weekend now point to the battle with The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. Someone clip that and send it to Josh. It's pronounced Rohirrim. Excuse me. Being tighter than expected. Pause. 2024 is nearing its end, but there's still one last comic book movie to see before the year is over. We are, of course, talking about Kraven the Hunter, a Sony Pictures title that, well, not many people actually appear all that interested in watching. Next weekend, the R-rated action-adventure will go head-to-head with The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, and it now appears the battle between them is going to be much closer than originally expected. According to Box Office Theory, Kraven the Hunter looks set to debut in the $16 million to $24 million range. The animated Lord of the Rings movie, however, is eyeing a $15 million to $24 million debut. While these projections are all over the place at this point, it's clearly going to be a tight race, and one which, if interest in both movies doesn't increase, will see them both flop. Sudden itch. As it stands, neither is expected to reach number one, as Wicked and Moana 2's supremacy continues ahead of Mufasa the Lion King and Sonic the Hedgehog 3 being released on December 20th. Ooh, that's going to be that's going to be a massive fucking box office battle right there. Mufasa and Sonic 3 coming out head to head on the same weekend. That's going to be a fun box office totals to watch. Ooh. I got to give the edge to Mufasa. How much of an edge, I can't commit to, but I got to give the edge to Mufasa. Even more worrying for Kraven the Hunter is the fact that it's only playing in 3,000 locations across North America. Both Morbius and Madam Web debuted in upwards of 4,000 locations and flopped. So we'd imagine Kraven's story will be a one and done, despite talk of this being an origin story which sets the stage for him to become a full-blown villain. A few years ago, it looked like Sony might be setting the stage for a Sinister Six project revolving around characters like Venom, Morbius, the Vulture, and Kraven, and that's only 4. Now those plans have fallen apart after fans and moviegoers have rejected the studio and Avi Arad's vision for Sony's Spider-Man universe. As we write this, the only confirmed big-screen Marvel projects on the way from Sony are Marvel Studios' Spider-Man 4 and Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. And blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, not only is Kraven the Hunter going to be battling an animated film, and by the way, there's 8 minutes of that footage out there, which I watched, and pretty much the same reaction. As a side note, it didn't make me go, "Wow, this is probably going to be crap," and it also didn't make me go, "Damn, I can't wait for this motherfucker." So, but yeah, the fact that any kind of Marvel project would be in a tight race with and while don't get me wrong here, I'm not shitting on animation as a medium. I fucking love animation. I think animation can target any age group or any spectrum of age groups you want. You can tell all more stories in animation than you can in live action, because humans have limitations. You can draw whatever the fuck you want with animation, program it however you want to call it. But yeah, but let's face it. In theaters, live action dominates, with some exceptions, obviously. Most of those exceptions being fairly recent, I should say. Super Mario Brothers, Moana 2, Inside Out 2. We're talking, Inside Out 2 and, what was the other one? Super Mario Brothers, both billion-dollar movies. So it's not like animation, is anywhere close to being, the massive underdog against live action that it used to be. However, those monstrous ones are still more exceptions to the rule, even now. But animation is climbing. Let's be real here. Animation is climbing, especially when you throw in, if I know it's not the same, but when you take Western animation and Eastern animation and put them together, it's a fucking force to be reckoned with. There's no denying that. However, in a head-to-head, live action generally is going to win. So this is not a normal situation by any stretch of the imagination, especially when you consider one of those projects has the Marvel name on it. It's Sony Marvel, but it's still Marvel. It's not Marvel Studios, but it's still officially under the Marvel nameplate. So, yeah, it's not good. Now, the question then becomes, if they're in that tighter race, is Sony shooting themselves in the foot by reducing the theater release count by 1,000 theaters? Or is that really a smart business decision because they are now saving money on 1,000+ theaters they no longer have to give a share of the movie to? Or does that show that they're, or is this an acknowledgement of that they're aware of their crap history lately? I don't know. Hollywood execs are super egotistical, so while some people in the building may be looking at it that way, the higher ups probably aren't. But whether they mean it to or not, it definitely implies a lack of confidence, for sure. And the only way they can have that lack of confidence is if they're actually aware of what their reputation has become. Now, I think two things can be true at the same time. I think they lack confidence in it. I think they know their reputation is ass. And that leads them into what it probably is also at the same time a smart business decision on not wasting money on 1,000 extra theaters that probably aren't going to do much for you in the first place. So, yeah. Overall, kind of crap. You know what I mean? I don't know that this movie will ever get good news unless by some miracle it ends up being super awesome and we find out by reviews and, more importantly, word of mouth from sources we trust. Sorry, my tabs were confusing me here for a second. My bad. Don't need that one. Okay. Cool. That's even better. All right, chat, what say you? Oh, you've been saying stuff. Allow me to get caught up. That's like one. Is it Madam Web bad or Eternals bad? The 8 minutes? Probably somewhere in between. Honestly. Matthew says, I'm going to say, I'm assuming you meant love or like at least. The prequels for other issues are better prequels than Solo, a Star Wars story. I mean, in production design anyway. Yeah. C-Dub, what's happening? Brooke says, I still got to see the first 2 Sonic films. Yeah, I need to see them all the way through. I've seen parts. Matthew says, the paint job was slightly different on the Millennium Falcon, so Hasbro could sell a slightly different toy of the same mold, despite breaking prequel canon of the Falcon being a beat-up YT, a Corellian. Yeah, well. He says, Kraven, I'm not familiar with the comic. Well, Kraven is most well known as a Spider-Man villain. He has had his own title, I believe. But, I feel like a lot of Marvel fans feel like the pinnacle of Kraven was the run Kraven's Last Hunt when he's hunting Spider-Man. Matthew says, I've always been a Spider-Man kid. Well, almost 50 now, so I'm not a kid. Yeah, I'm almost 50 as well. I'll be 50 next year. Rob says, Sony is so bad. Mm-hmm. They don't even realize Feige already did the Sinister Six and nailed it with No Way Home. Yeah, they can also try to do the classic lineup of Vulture and Mysterio already established. Yep. Matthew says, Barbie did so well for Mattel, and they've been defeating Hasbro in sales on Barbie and He-Man over Transformers and Star Wars. I'm surprised there is no He-Man movie. Oh, but there is. There is a He-Man movie. Now, we haven't gotten any news on it in a while, but there is a He-Man movie. Don't you worry. Rob says, Sony keeps going for it on 4th and inches in field goal range instead of making the smart play. Oh, you had to bring that shit up, didn't you? Oh, yeah, you missed it, babe, and I haven't told you about it. The Lions game after you went to sleep? Or did I tell you about it? Fucking Dan Campbell went for it on like 4th and 1 when he could have easily kicked the field goal and played defense for like 40 seconds. Oh, that's the kind of shit that's why we lost the fucking NFC Championship game. Okay. It's okay, we won. It's okay. God damn it, Rob. You had to, didn't you? Fucker. Matthew says, Sony has disgraced Ghostbusters. I will never ever watch another one after Frozen Empire, and I've seen Answer the Call. What's up, Alan? Got yourself a new screen name, I see, and rocking that KC logo. Nice. Matthew says, I was so excited to see old guys reunite. They pulled a Disney Star Wars short of killing them. Why can't us old guys have our heroes? Because KK. Brooke says, I'm excited for the new Lord of the Rings film, to be honest. I mean, I'm not saying I can't use the word excited. I really can't even say looking forward to, perchance. There's no way in fuck I'm going to the theater to see it. Nope. But I'm interested in it. Like, I want to see what it ends up looking like and being like. But yeah, I'm not like, woo, we're Rohirrim. Let's go. No, that's not the case. Brooke says, Kraven could be a fun action film. Yes. I mean, it really needs to be that, because those first 8 minutes did not give me confidence in the plot or the acting or, the other shit that matters besides the action. Excuse me. Rob says Warner Brothers is just as bad. Yeah, they suck too. A DC shared universe has to build the dark side, period. Oh, yeah. The villains make the hero trope, and Warner Brothers misses the boat trying to be all Harry Potter with their prop. True, and they have a Harry Potter show they're doing. Matthew says they had Billy, Danny, and Ernie. How do you mess that up in Ghostbusters and have Bill Murray for 5 minutes or less and the old guy saved by kids? Well, I mean, you know, old guys need saving sometimes. Especially when we're super old and wearing man diapers and shit. Properties, yeah. He-Man, that Dolph Lundgren pile of slop. I mean, yes, that's the one that we were blessed with in our younger years for sure. But yeah, they're giving her another go. Mandy says, I thought Reverse Flash and Darkseid being the big bads might have been one of Snyder's good ideas, but he had already spent $500 million on Justice League and then pulled the plug. Yeah. Rob says, Brooke, I agree that Kraven can be fun. I'm going to watch it. I want them to just make a fun action film with no strings attached. Well, from the sound of things, there's not going to be too many strings on that. There ain't got no strings on me. Kevin, what's going on, man? Welcome in. Kraven the Hunter domestic box office debut prediction 10 to 15 million. Lord of the Rings domestic box office debut prediction 5 to 10 million. Well, according to this here article in Murphy's Multiverse, where is it? Oh no, I already clicked off the article. That was in comicbook.com. It's that is a lot closer. It was like, what was it? 6 to 15 for Kraven and like 5 to 15 for Lord of the Rings. Something like that. Rob says, death before diapers. I can't argue. Brick says, I'm just going into Kraven with low expectations. Hopefully I will like it more than most. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I don't think you can go into Kraven with anything higher than low expectations. It'd probably even be better to go in with 0. You know what I mean? Kevin says, Moana 2 global box office total run prediction 800 to 900 million. Yeah, I mean, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. I mean, it's at least going to kick off strong. That's for damn sure. I've seen mostly good reviews, but I've seen a couple ones that, like, say you can really tell that it used to be a show. Brooks says, seems about reasonable for box office predictions, but wouldn't be surprised if it's a bit more. Are you talking about the Moana, Brooke, or are you talking about the Kraven and the Lord of the Rohirrim? Matthew says, personally, I would have made Man of Steel 2 and Batfleck standalone, but I'm not a studio bigwig. I wouldn't have made BVS. No, that's the way they should have did it. Now, as for not making BVS, I wouldn't have made it at that point. Like, there's nothing wrong with BVS, but like you said, I would have made those 2 movies first. Oh, you're talking about Kraven and Lord of the Ring film? Yeah, those are pretty reasonable for, well, one, an animated spinoff of a franchise that's loved, but has taken a lot of damage thanks to Prime. And then there's Kraven, who's, even if it ends up being a really good movie, he still ain't going to make shit because Sony has fucked the Marvel audience over for a few years now. So, yeah, I would say those are fair predictions. Not to mention somewhat based off of tracking. Rob says, I watched Madam Web with no expectations. I still left shaking my head after I saw it. Yeah, that seems to be pretty much the consensus on that there movie. All right. Any more thoughts on the further, I guess, evidence that Kraven is probably, that Kraven is, you can almost say definitely will not perform at the box office. And that it's probably still not that good of a movie in the first place. It says, because BVS is always going to be compared to Dark Knight Returns, and in adapting Frank Miller, Batman Begins did a better job of year one. I would agree with that. Thank you, Rob. I fucking love this book. Rob gave this to me, among other things. It's a Christmas present, but yeah. I love this shit right here. Matthew says the animated with Peter Weller is better. So much better. An animated adaptation of The Dark Knight Returns? This is a thing? Is it on Max? Don't leave me hanging, Matthew. You can't tease me with that shit. You gotta deliver, man. What the fuck? Oh, stupid ass ad. Yeah, you can't do that to me, bruh. Oh yeah, that's that. Okay. Cool. Okay. No, I haven't seen it. I want to see it, obviously, now. Holy shit. You calling it? Excuse me. Don't you meow at me. You stay there on mommy and leave my equipment the fuck alone. Megan says, I don't know if it's Max, but yes, it's a movie in 2 parts or a combined edit. Well, if Max doesn't have it, trust me, I'll find it somewhere. I thought Snyder did a valiant attempt at it. Did he? Okay, did he do a valiant attempt more at the animated interpretation or the book itself? What do you think about that one, Rob? How would you answer that? And if you say the animated one, I am totally going to dig that shit up. I'm going to find that motherfucker tonight somehow. I hope. There's a couple places I can check. Actually, really only one. Who am I kidding? Rob says, I thought DC would do the interpretation with the solo Bat flick, then Superman 2, leading into the conflict. Yeah, that would have been the smart way to do it. But Warner Brothers execs are fucking idiots, and they just wanted to catch up to the MCU as quickly as possible. But forgetting that the MCU took 3 years to build up to Infinity War. And how many movies? The anime is truer to the original story. It's on Google. Okay. Wait, anime or animated? Are we talking Western animation or Eastern animation here? What's up, Daniel? How you doing? Oh, shit. I haven't checked my Discord in a minute. Did you drop your link in there? If you did, thank you. If not, this is a reminder. May says the book, mixed with bringing in Death of Superman and Doomsday. You're better off reading Death of Superman and Reign of the Superman and Dark Knight Returns. Nice. BVS had the right tension. Then they brought in the Death of Superman, says Rob. BVS? Okay. So you're saying Snyder went too far with it? It's kind of what I'm getting. Now I wonder how much of that is on him and how much of that is on the stupidity of Warner Brothers executives. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll be real with you. I love Zack Snyder as a director. Zack Snyder should never ever attempt to write a script again. See Rebel Moon. Ooh, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for that link, Rob. The fuck was I just saying? Oh, yeah. I wonder how much of that was... Oh, yes, I was speaking honestly of Zack Snyder. Yes, I love him as a director. Motherfucker should never write a script again. He does tend to become over-obsessed with slow-mo. At least lately. He did a shit ton of slow-mo. He's always been very much into the slow-mo, but it's gotten kind of out of hand in recent years. However, I still think had Sony execs let him do it the right way, and I'm 90% sure how we're talking about doing it is how he wanted to do it, or at least something similar. I honestly think the DCEU would still be going strong. I blame the failure of the DCEU on the executives. Both for rushing things and for allowing Joss Whedon to do what he did to Justice League. Rob says, Snyder, for real, what, Daniel? If you're agreeing with me, then cool. Snyder did too much too soon, says Rob. Those two stories need to be honored properly, not mashed up like a stew. Yeah, and I'm 90% sure that that's on the Warner Brothers executives much more than it is on Snyder. Oh, sorry, Brooke. He says, I generally like BVS for the most part. I like BVS. Part of that could be because I'm much more ignorant of DC canon than I am of Marvel. So therefore, I had much less, I had many fewer reasons to dislike it. I don't think it's like fucking magnificent, mind you, but I definitely do not have the level of disdain for it that many people seem to have. Matthew says, I just didn't buy Affleck Batman and his reasoning for hating Superman or wanting to kill him. I like Batfleck. So I'm going to disagree with you there, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't watched it in a minute. I'd have to rewatch it again to see how I feel about the reasoning. Daniel says director cuts of the DCEU was so much better. Yeah, I've seen the what do they call it for BVS, the Ultimate Edition, and it is definitely better than the theater cut. For sure. Rob says, I like 80% of BVS. I watch it from time to time. Flash, not so much. I'm never watching that fucking movie again. Like, ever. I'm never watching that again. I'm never watching Quantumania again. I'm never watching Love and Thunder again. How sad is it that there's two Marvel movies that I'll never, well, no. I mean, if I want to include all of DC, not necessarily just the DCEU, there's a few DC movies I won't watch again. The Suicide Squad, the Gun Squad being one of them. The Flash being another. So, yeah. Manny says, that more of a Lex Luthor thing, the false god destroys Superman. Oh, yeah. I mean, let's face it, Lex has always thought Superman was a cheater when it came to physical performance. Lex is very humanocentric. So. Okay. Well, you know what? We got more. What's up, Travis? How you doing, man? You know, we got some serendipity going on tonight with you guys, chat. Earlier, Rob brings up Skeleton Crew, which led me into my Ahsoka Season 2 little tidbit. And who was it? Where is it? I want to give credit where credit is due. Yeah, DC came up earlier, thanks to Rob and Matthew, and it just so happens that my next story is about the DCU. BVS Ultimate Edition is awesome. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it. But yes, the next little tidbit I have for you. Look! Gunn is opening his fucking mouth again. Surprise! Actually, these quotes come from his time spent on the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast, which actually, Josh played it, Thursday? Some of it. He skipped the pet part, which kind of is bullshit. But, yeah, I mean, there's some interesting Gunn quotes from that. And I thought this one was intriguing. James Gunn reveals what will set his Superman apart from prior efforts. With Creature Commandos having made his debut on Max, and I actually really fucking like that show, by the way, the all-new DCU is officially underway. As DC Studios co-CEO James Gunn has said, however, the animated series is designed to be an appetizer, a way for people to just take a little nibble of the all-new DCU and see what it tastes like. In that metaphor, the main course becomes Superman, written and directed by Gunn, which is set to hit theaters on July 11th, 2025. Well, hopefully our little appetizer here is a hell of a lot more spicy than Superman actually is. Superman needs to be flavorful, but it should not be James Gunn spicy, if you know what I mean. To date, fans haven't truly been able to get a good idea for the feel of the upcoming film, but that's all about to change with the debut of the film's first teaser trailer expected before Christmas. Trailers for superhero films always find themselves under intense scrutiny, but it's reasonable to assume that for a multitude of reasons, the first look at DC Studios' Superman is facing a challenge worthy of the Man of Steel himself. With so many live-action iterations of the character already having made their way to screens big and small, everyone has a favorite Superman, which means David Corenswet's version of Kal-El will be compared to all of them. Yeah, that's pretty much facts. To that end, Gunn, who has loved Superman since seeing Richard Donner's 1978 film in theaters, has smartly taken measures to set Corenswet's Kal-El apart from those that came before him. In an interview with Josh Horowitz, Happy, Sad, Confused podcast, Gunn has explained that the biggest difference is that his inspiration for the character came from DC Comics' Silver Age, in which Superman was a nigh invulnerable powerhouse. I don't think we've ever seen the big science fiction Silver Age Superman aspects that we have in our movie, said Gunn. We've never seen, you'll see when the movie comes out, but we've never seen this specific part of Superman's life. It's not entirely clear to what Gunn is referring to in the second quote. However, the Silver Age Superman came to Earth as an older child, complete with memories of Krypton, and began a superhero career as Superboy during his time in Smallville, making him a known quantity much earlier than Henry Cavill's Snyderverse version. That's interesting. Whatever it is Gunn has planned for Superman, it's clear that it will involve his comic book archenemy antagonizing him in a much different way than has been shown on screen so far. I don't think we've ever seen the Lex that Nicholas Hoult is, explained Gunn. Nick is imposing. You go, oh fuck, poor Superman. That's the thing we never see not in film, Gunn added. And of course, he is not wrong. While Gene Hackman's Luthor may well be iconic, he was nowhere near as fully developed as many iterations of Lex have been in the comics, which seemed to be serving as a waypoint for Holt's Luthor. Sometimes in the comics you go, oh, Superman is fucked because Lex is so smart and so good at what he's doing, said Gunn. But in the movies you're going, Lex is about to get fucked. From what we've seen from set photos, it does indeed seem that Luthor will gain a significant advantage over Kal-El in Superman. Well. Well. What do y'all think about that? I actually think that's kind of cool. I'm not super familiar with Silver Age Superman at all. I like the fact that we're going to be seeing a probably the closest rendition to Lex Luthor it seems like that we've been going to get so far to this point. So, just taking that part of things, that actually sounds cool to me. I like the idea of like a truly badass Lex Luthor, He should be. He's quite badass in the comics. I like the fact that he's dipping into a comic book age as source material because he's right. We haven't really seen that particular style of Superman on the big screen. Probably Donner's Superman is probably the closest we've gotten so far. And I think even his was more Golden Age. So, I actually like this. I think it's pretty cool. It definitely, I think it's a good direction to go on paper. Whether Gunn actually has succeeded in making that as awesome as he's making it sound in this interview, we'll see. James Gunn has tendencies that make me nervous. I don't want a DC version of Guardians of the Galaxy, especially not in my fucking Superman movie. I mean, we kind of already have it in animation, which is fine. And I like Creature Commandos. But I don't want that feel in with my Superman. It doesn't belong there. And that's the part I'm worried about. So, well, yeah. I think that sounds pretty fucking good. We'll find out in about 8 months whether he succeeded. Yeah, it's only 8 months because it's 8 months in a week. What y'all think? Type in new chats while they get caught up on your own chats. Daniel says, why can DC Animated do great films, but they can't get their live action shit together? That's one of life's great mysteries, Daniel. Another one is, how does Kathleen Kennedy still have a fucking job? She should have been gone 3 years ago minimum. Matthew says, I genuinely enjoyed Snyder's cut of Justice League, and I hated the Whedon cut, but not enough to scream restore the Snyderverse from the rooftops. Yeah, well, I mean, like, I agree with that. Would I have liked to see a continuation of the Snyderverse? Yes. I would have. The problem with that is the executives had already fucked it to the point where they kind of had to just let it go. With them forcing Zack to get to Justice League ASAP instead of building to it the way he should have. So, Travis says, it's well implied, but I took it Lex's father beat the fear of God into Lex, only to see Superman, which goes against that concept that was beaten into him. So Clark becomes an outlet for his rage. I'm trying to think back to some of Rob's videos, and I feel like that's accurate. Griff says, I figured it out. Creature Commandos is DC's Archer. You know what? Yeah. Yeah. Rob says, who is the villain in what? Creature Commandos? Right now it's Cersei. Matthew says, and Wonder Woman and Shazam and Aquaman were only enjoyable in the first outings, but all three of those sequels flopped. I enjoyed aspects of The Flash, Supergirl, and Keaton, but Black Adam was a miss. First Wonder Woman, cool. Wonder Woman 84, yes. Shazam, I never had any interest in watching whatsoever, so I haven't watched them, and I probably never will. Aquaman, first Aquaman was fun. Second one was, it was there, and I watched it. All three of the sequels flopped, yes, indeed. I actually stopped watching the CWDC universe a long time ago. I only ever watched most of Arrow and some of the Flash, and that's it. Never watched Supergirl. I watched 20 minutes of the premiere of Legends of Tomorrow and never watched another second of that show. Black Adam was all right. I would call it entertaining. I wouldn't call it a good movie, but I would call it an entertaining movie. Brooke says, I do wonder how Lex Luthor will be portrayed in the Superman film if he is the main villain. Well, he is the main villain. And from the sounds of things, he's going to be very cold calculating, and obviously he's super smart. So, yeah, and I basically they're going to take all the goofiness out of the Gene Hackman Luthor and turn it all into badassery. At least that's what Gunn's making it sound like. Chris says, Black Adam was good. It wasn't spectacular, but good. Matthew says, Michael Rosenbaum was excellent in Smallville, but they keep going back to the Hackman interpretation. Well, from the sound of it, that ain't happening this time. I still think they miscast the second best James Bond as Dr. Fate. I'm not super familiar with Dr. Fate, so I wouldn't know. Rob says, if you want Kathleen Kennedy to go, do American Beauty with Wookiees and Ewoks. Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. Fucking shit, bro. Like, what the hell? Travis says, would have loved an extended version of that nightmare sequence where after Superman lands, Black Adam just tackles him. Dwayne Johnson with long hair, not top section of his suit covered with scars from Superman's lasers. Yeah, that would have been better. Yeah, it would have been better. Lou, what's going on, man? Yo. Brooks says, I would definitely love a super serious Lex Luthor. He was okay in BVS, but could have been much darker and more serious. Yeah, they made him... That is one thing I wasn't super fond of, I have to admit. Yeah, I did. I like that he was a genius, but the fact that he also appeared to be a bit schizoid, I didn't like. That was not a take I appreciated much. Like, I like Jesse Eisenberg. I thought he did well with what he was asked to do. But yeah, the psychopath take on him, not great. Robert says, I stopped watching Black Adam and threw it out faster than my father did to my porn stash. Pierce Brosnan. Yeah, Pierce Brosnan. I grew up on Pierce Brosnan. What was that fucking show he was in with the... Oh, yeah, because my mom fucking loved Remington Steele. So therefore, I saw a lot of Pierce Brosnan growing up. Rob says, being serious, from what I've read about the last season of Superman and Lois, has a different badass take on Lex. I've heard the Lex in that show is pretty good. I've heard that. I haven't watched a lick of that show. I need to, evidently, because evidently is really good. But yeah, I've heard good things about their version of Lex for sure. Brooke says, I remember watching Pierce Brosnan James Bond films. Enjoyed all of them. Pierce Brosnan was also in the action film called The Foreigner, starring Jackie Chan. It was awesome. Matthew says, except Die Another Day. I don't enjoy that one. I am so far behind on my Bond. Like, I know mostly who they have been played, but I haven't watched very many Bond movies, I'm ashamed to say. Why are you confusing Pierce and Timothy Dalton? I have no idea. I don't know. Well, weren't they like one after the other? I'm just not sure which order. I feel like, wasn't it Pierce then Dalton? Or was it Dalton then Pierce? I can't fucking remember. I feel like they were in close proximity, and they're both, at the time, they were both quite dark-haired. I would say Dalton was much more rugged-looking than Pierce. I feel like Pierce has a more refined look. Just in general. But, yeah. Matthew says, my least favorite is No Time to Die, for obvious reasons, even though it was well made and well acted. I don't know what those obvious reasons are. But okay. Would you care to share with the class what those obvious reasons are? Monsieur Godet. Because you got me curious, sir. Travis says, if not Aaron Taylor Johnson, I could actually see Josh Hartnett as Bond. I actually would prefer if they stuck with British actors for Bond instead of having an American dude fake a British accent. Matthew says, Dalton did Living Daylights and License to Kill, and then there was a 6-year hiatus, and then Pierce Brosnan came on. Dalton only did 2? Why did I think he did like 3 or 4? He only did 2? Wow. He dies in Bond 25, you asked. No, whatever. Brooke loves Skyfall and Spectre a lot. Cool. So is that a Pierce Brosnan one? They killed Pierce Brosnan Bond? John Oliver as the next Bond, says Rob. I gotta remind myself who the fuck John Oliver actually is. Come on. Open says me. Thank you. Man, shut up. You shut your cake hole, Mr. Naples. Brooke says, I agree the actor for Bond should be British, but not necessarily English, since Brosnan is Irish and he did a superb job as Bond. Okay, from the UK then, Brooke. Although I do respect the pedanticism. I respect it. Brooke says, I remember there were once rumors for a female James Bond. They continue. Mandy says, Daniel Craig was the final Bond. They killed Craig. Last Week Tonight, says Rob. Is that a show? Is that comedy show that also Jimmy Carr is on sometimes? Brooks said, I think No Time to Die is a Daniel Craig Bond film, and yeah, he died in that one. It was all right. Okay. Dan says, Aaron Taylor Johnson would do good. Yeah, I think he would do good. I mean, he obviously can handle the action. He's got that suave look when he cleans himself up. Yeah, he would do pretty decent. I mean, he's not a bad actor. I feel like he's been way underserved in his forays into comic book movies. Yes, that comedy show. Okay. Yeah, I feel like he's been severely underserved when he's been in comic book movies. He was underserved in Ultron. He looks like he's going to be underserved in Kraven. I liked him in Godzilla. I thought that was, I don't know if y'all recall this little tidbit, but he and Elizabeth Olsen were a couple in Godzilla, and then the following year, Age of Ultron came out where they were siblings. 2 movies in a row for those two hanging out together. Matthew says he did 5, I think. Daniel Craig. Connery did 6, and I think Moore did 7, and Lazenby did 1. Is Lazenby the dude? Wasn't that the one-off before Connery took over, or was he kind of in the middle somewhere? Because if I recall right, there was like one dude before Connery. Is that him? Danny says he plays American so good, people forget he's British. I mean, true. Like, I had no idea Rick Grimes was British till I saw him in an interview. I about shit myself. Rob says, what about the guy who played Neville Longbottom? He's young and looks nothing like Neville was supposed to look. I don't know. Has his face gotten better? Oh. I can see it now. Yeah, actually. Wow. Look who's all growed up. Look who's all growed up. Look at that shit. All right. I'm not sure what Matthew is referring to with OMSS. Lou says Old Bond was the best. Travis says, I am curious about Kraven. The interviews for the film emphasize that this is an origin to how Kraven gets to be Kraven, so I hope they go all the way and show him become a villain. Well, that would be cool. I don't know that they're gonna. Matthew says, Connery came first, Lazenby did one. Connery came back for one and quit again, and then made a remake non-canon Thunderball as Never Say Never Again. All right. Lou says, I keep hearing people are upset about the Snape casting. Yeah. Well, first of all, he's just a desired actor right now. He hasn't been cast by any stretch. No one's been cast. Well, the kids probably are cast, honestly. They're probably just keeping that under wraps. But yeah, people are. Why is that like that? That's weird. Don't do that to me. But yeah, of course, people are freaking out because it's a race swap. Yeah, that's the biggest thing, is because it's a race swap. Like, whatever. From what I understand, the dude they're looking at is like a really fucking good actor. So, honestly, I don't care. And if you think about it, I mean, Alan Rickman is Severus fucking Snape. Like, you're not going to match that performance by any stretch of the imagination. So, really, redefining Snape as in a much, treating Snape in a much different manner from the way Rickman played him. Although you do have to have some of that because Snape is a fucking asshole. Hero in the end, spoiler alert, but overall a fucking asshole. So, I mean, you got to have some of the aspects the same way that Rickman played him, but on the other hand, it's probably not a bad idea to make some moves to get at least partway out from me underneath Rickman's shadow. You know what I mean? Rob says, from wedgies to GQ hottest. Yeah? Or GQ hottie. Grr. Yeah, Neville grew up nice. I mean, congrats, buddy. Matthew says, Lazenby was in On Her Majesty's Secret Service in 1969. Oh, okay. Excuse me. Brooke says, I've watched the Craig and Brosnan Bond films. Want to watch the other Bond films as well. Yeah, I mean, Bond is something I definitely would like to... I would like to say I've seen all the Bond films at least once. Well, I really don't care about Lazenby's. But, I mean, if I'm going to say I've seen all of them, I would naturally have to include his. But still. Yeah. I've seen a couple. I don't know if I've actually sat down and watched one all the way through. I know I've seen parts of a few. I've seen parts of a couple of Connerys. I've seen parts of a couple of Moores. But yeah. Travis says, I honestly haven't seen a single Bond film. Haha. Only a part of the Brosnan one where the Asian guy gets diamonds in his face. Okay. Matthew says, with Diana Rigg herself from the Avengers TV series. Emma Peel herself. Yeah, spoiler alert. Matthew says, of course, Roger Moore played the Saint on television and came on to play Bond, like Brosnan played Remington Steele. Are we talking the same character that Val Kilmer brought to life on the big screen when you say the Saint? Rob says, whomever follows Alan has to be able to bring Snape to a new level. Menacing. Yeah. Although, I mean, it's got to be a different kind of menacing from Rickman. You know, it's got to be... I don't know how to explain it other than it's got to be a different type of menacing. That's really all I can... That's as far in depth as I can get into that one. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I have good news. The good news is that all we have left to talk about is Marvel. But before we get into Marvel, I need to remove liquid and then get another cold liquid to replace the warm liquid I'm about to get rid of. So I will be back in a wee bit. Please don't leave. And while I'm gone, please take the time to hit all the buttons. Subscribe, like, notification bell. You know what I mean. I'll be back in a little bit. Alrighty. We back, baby. Do. Let's see here. Rob says the show, Harry Potter, is going to give the actor more time to show how menacing Snape is. True. Alan had like 40 minutes of screen time after the first movie. That's it? Really? There should be more screen time to develop the character. Oh, for sure. And I think that's one of the big goals of that show, as I understand it, and the reason why they're doing, seasons of show. They're spending in a whole season on each book. So I'm not sure how many episodes there are, but basically you're going to go from like a 2.5 hour movie to what, 6, 7, 8 hours of content in a season? Yeah. You're going to get a lot more character development in the show. And that's the aspect of the show that has me the most interested, honestly. So, yeah. I think you're going to get exactly what you're talking about. You're going to get much more screen time to develop the character. Matthew says, Cavill also was in the Man from U.N.C.L.E. remake, based on a TV show that was a spy series as well, and his Napoleon solo appearance tells me he would be a good James Bond. Oh, Cavill would fucking kill it as James Bond. I mean, I'm a bit of a Cavill stan, so make of that what you will. Okay, I'm a massive Cavill stan, so make of that of what you will, but yeah, fuck yeah. Matthew continues, but he never will be since he missed out and Daniel Craig was cast. The director of Casino Royale wanted to cast Cavill, but Barbara Broccoli wanted Dan. Well, fuck that bitch. She's an idiot. I mean, don't get me wrong. Daniel Craig, from what I understand, Daniel Craig's Bond was pretty badass and pretty cool, and people liked him. But fucking, how do you... So stupid. Brooks says, Cavill is the most perfect successor to Craig as Bond, in my opinion. I mean, yeah. ChatGPT says 48 minutes, 15 seconds total screen time. Well, fuck me running. That's crazy. But thinking about it, yeah. Thinking about the movies and how they were set up. Yeah. Goddamn. I never even thought about it, but yeah. Matthew says, as for a Harry Potter series, I've seen the movies, but I've read only a couple of the books. More of a Tolkien fan. I've read all of those. Yeah. I like Tolkien a lot. Getting through his prose is fucking work sometimes, but yeah, good shit. I've seen all the movies and I've read all the books. So I am quite well aware that there is a lot of meat left on the bone for this show to get into when it comes to the books. A lot. Matthew says, though I adore the John Williams scores, and if the boxed CD set wasn't $1 zillion, I would own it. Yeah, same here, man. John Williams is the cinematic score GOAT. Period. There are others that are really good. Hans Zimmer being one. Danny Elfman being one. Michael Giacchino being one. But, yeah. When it comes to cinematic scoring, Williams is the fucking GOAT. And anyone who says otherwise is a dipshit. Brooke says, I've listened to the audiobooks for Harry Potter and all the movies. My favorite Harry Potter film is probably Deathly Hallows Part 2. I mean, that's a good one. Honestly, I think my favorite might be The Half-Blood Prince. I really like The Half-Blood Prince. I like Goblet of Fire a lot, too. Yeah, honestly, Half-Blood Prince might be my favorite. Brooke says Prisoner of Azkaban is pretty good as a movie and a book. Oh, yeah. No, Prisoner of Azkaban is high up there, too. Of course, it also helps that Gary Oldman's in that, and I'm a bit of an Oldman stan as well. I love me some Gary Oldman. Travis says for Snape, everyone says Adam Driver, which is simply the perfect choice. But I could see someone like Norman Reedus or Ryan Gosling as Snape as well. See, everyone says Adam Driver because he looks like Rickman, which means they're going to expect him to be on Rickman level of acting, and they're going to expect Rickman. Basically, if they were to cast Adam Driver, which they are not going to, everyone would be expecting Alan Rickman 2.0. And Adam Driver's a good actor, but he ain't on Rickman's level. Sorry, not for me. Norman Reedus, oh fuck no. And Gosling's too pretty. And I like me some Norman Reedus, but as Snape, that's a whole lot of fuck no. Matthew says, Danny loved his Batman and Spider-Man scores and Nightmare Before Christmas. Yep. Also says, Gary Oldman makes me think of Commissioner Gordon. That means he did a good job because I see it. Yeah, he was a good Commissioner Gordon. I loved him in Dracula. He was great in Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. He was great in The Professional as the crooked cop. Yeah, I love Oldman. Brooke says, I remember listening to the audiobook of The Half-Blood Prince. I liked the scenes where Dumbledore takes Harry to a cave with one of the Voldemort's Horcruxes. I liked how the book described the scene. Yeah, I mean, they did a pretty good job with that in the movie. But, yeah. Half-Blood Prince is my favorite. Period. Brooke says, Snape is such a compelling character. Tragic story. Yeah. Yeah, I liked... And he literally became Winston Churchill. Goldman? Yeah. Or Oldman? Yes. Excuse me. But yeah, Snape's character, I really loved what Rowling ended up doing with him. I mean, he was a walking butthole, but he was a walking butthole that was, in the end, doing nothing but trying to protect Harry. So, and all over the unrequited love he had for Harry's mother. Spoiler alert. Brooke says, Gary Oldman is a legend. He's unrecognizable in many of his roles. A very versatile actor. Oh, fuck yeah. Travis says, I'm waiting to finally see Peeves the Ghost in the Harry Potter show. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of shit they can get into that the movies didn't because they're going to have the time now. That's going to be the biggest difference. Brooke says, haven't seen that Churchill movie with Oldman, but watched that clip where he made a speech as Churchill. Very powerful stuff. Yeah, Oldman... Has Oldman won an Oscar? Because his level of acting is definitely Oscar-worthy, but the question is has he been in the correct vehicle to... Yeah, that's a fucking... Oh, okay. Nope, he is an Oscar-winning actor. It was for, what the hell is it for? It was for a movie called The Darkest Hour. Oh, that was for Winston Churchill. He won an Oscar for that Winston Churchill role. There we go. How about them apples? Frank says, we shall never surrender. Yeah, pretty much. Matthew says, I fell asleep until the rousing speech at the end. Very boring movie. I probably should rewatch it. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen it, but like I said, I'm an Oldman stan, so I'll stay awake for it. Oldman only had 22 minutes. I don't care. Travis says, my mother had a habit of taking me to see sequels to movies we hadn't seen. We saw Deathly Hallows Part 1 without seeing any of the others. So I laughed when Dobby died. Well, I mean, Obi-Wan wasn't wrong. It's all about your point of view. I was so sad when Dobby died. Brooke says, I do want to see that Churchill movie at some point. Want to watch more World War II related history films at some point. Yeah, I love World War II history. Manny says, I keep misspelling common words. I'm getting worse with time. I feel that one, brother. I feel that one. All right. Talking some Harry Potter and some Gary Oldman is fun, but we have Marvel to speak of. And the first bit of Marvel to speak of is the following. Most of us in here are Nerdvengers. So we know that one of Josh's favorite things to talk about outside of Doom is his desire for a Hulk movie and the evidence that there is the chance of us getting a Hulk movie. Mary says, and I'm not drunk. Maybe I need a drink. Maybe? Get yourself some scotch or some bourbon or something. Whiskey has been a good friend of mine for decades. Most of the time. Most of the time. But, yeah, so, I mean, we've had rumors of a Hulk movie. We've had theories about how a Hulk movie could happen and tie in even to the current multiverse saga. And let's face it. Is there anyone who is a fan of the MCU who does not want Savage Hulk back? Like, who the fuck is out there that would not want Savage Hulk back? Like, come on. Everyone wants Savage Hulk back. People who've only barely paid attention to the MCU want Savage Hulk back. Right? Well, last night on the hot mic, a question came up about future Marvel plans. And Jeff Snyder answered it. Now, as we all know, Jeff, whether you like him or not, and I freely admit he comes off quite dickish a lot of the time. Okay? This is not news. This is well known. However, once you get past that, it is also well known that he's fucking good and fucking accurate. Which means even his speculation is generally based at least on some kind of something he's heard. And a Marvel question came up on last night's edition of the Hot Mic. You motherfucker. Give him my skip. There we go. And he said the following. Really?
Yeah, that was bad too. Him saying, I would crawl through broken glass.
Acknowledging that these movies take a lot out of you, and I think that that's what Barry Jenkins is sort of getting at in this interview. And that.
Oh, you motherfucker. Why'd you jump all the way back there? Hold on. Wait a minute.
Is he going to?
That's what a lot of people were reporting last week. That Lucasfilm has possibly started to have meetings with John Boyega about coming back. I told you he was coming back a while. Tristan says, what do you think is going to be the next mainstream attraction after
Here we go.
IP sequels and reboots?
Oh, wait. Is that the right one? No, that's not the right one. It's the next one. There it is. Yes, the one we want.
I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna watch this later and see.
I'm going to mention it in the newsletter tonight. So
Are you gonna link to it?
Yes, I'm going to link to it. If I can get a fucking newsletter out tonight, that might be difficult.
Sorry. We got a lot of questions. So I'm trying to.
I know.
Lady Jennifer Shaw says Alan Rickman was great as Snape. I'm glad they are going for a different take on the character. I agree, lady, and it's good to kind of explore the possibilities.
Yeah, especially with Rickman gone. Like, I don't think you can just hire a guy who like sounds and looks like him.
That would be weird. I agree. Tristan says, any clue on what the quote secret Marvel project that's going to start shooting in fall of 2025? Reported by Daniel RPK. Is it probably Blade?
Blade's going to start sooner than that.
I would say it might be Blade.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm gonna say something with Hulk.
Ooh. Okay. Movies fan 24 says, love the show, guys.
Yes, he just kind of threw that out there as a nothing thing. I fully realize this. But like I said before, when it comes to someone on the level of Jeff Snyder as an insider / scooper / whatever, their speculation doesn't come from nothing. Same thing with Alex Perez. Even his theories and speculation don't come from nothing. There's always some kind of something they've heard that they're basing their shit off of. Right? So, to me, this is just one more reason to think that a Hulk thing could actually happen. And probably the best thing they could do, especially in the multiverse saga, is adapt World War Hulks. So we're talking, just in terms of existing MCU characters, we're talking regular Hulk, although he would have to become Savage by this point. Red Hulk. She-Hulk. Yeah, but she's a Hulk. Abomination, who's kind of a pseudo form of a Hulk. And also with the additional possibility of a Maestro Hulk. So, yeah. A World War Hulks movie is probably the most likely scenario, because that way you can bring in the already existing Earthbound Hulks in a variant or two. And it could be seriously fucking dope. And for a movie like that, you would have to have Savage Hulk back. Like it would be required. You couldn't make a World War Hulks movie without a Savage Hulk in it. You just couldn't. So, what do y'all think? Let me get caught up on chats, and you can drop some new chats in there, because Daddy needs the engagement. Anyway, Matthew says, Universal has the rights. Disney has to make a partnership with them. I don't know why they haven't backed up a Brinks truck and gotten it done. Probably because they haven't had massive plans for Hulk before now. And I'm sure if they want to do World War Hulks, they'll be in. They'll be talking to Universal, and Universal will be salivating at the prospect of getting a chunk of MCU money. Unless they're just fucking Lucasfilm levels of stupid. So I don't really see that being a problem. If Marvel wants to do World War Hulks, Universal will let them do World War Hulks, and they'll get their fat chunk of change and be happy. Brooke says, I want Savage Hulk back. It's been a long time. It has literally been 5 years since we have had Savage Hulk in live action. And that's even if you include the Daredevil appearance this year. Even though it was like, 3 seconds? It's been 5 years. The last time we got Savage Hulk was at the very beginning of Infinity War, and then Thanos made him his bitch, and we haven't had him since. Except for that one variant of his that was about to fight with the original costume Wolverine. So, yeah. It's been 5 fucking years, bro. 5. Actually, no. Beginning of Infinity War. 6 now, because Infinity War was 18. Endgame was 19. So, yeah. 6 fucking years. Since we've had a Savage Hulk. And even then, you almost can't even count the one in Deadpool and Wolverine because it was so goddamn quick of a scene. So, Brooks says also Maestro Hulk is a freaking savage. Yes. And he says Ruffalo said he can't have a standalone for similar reasons. Right, but if Marvel wants it, Marvel will get it. They'll just dangle all the money that the MCU movies make in front of Universal and go, we'll give you a chunk. We'll give you a decent chunk. And Universal will go, and we have to do no work. And Marvel will go, correct. And Universal will go, cool. Like that negotiation, the longest part of that negotiation will be deciding how much of a chunk Universal gets. Like, that's really the only thing that Universal would really care about. How much of a chunk of money is Marvel going to give them? And then beyond that, they will not give a fuck. Again, unless they're stupid as shit. Travis says, it's amazing that Harry Potter and Marvel don't cross over as much as you'd think in terms of actors being in both. Well, Harry Potter is owned by Warner Brothers, which also owns DC. So that ain't fucking happening. Hulk that can't smash. Professor Hulk sucks. Yes. And he says, Snyder gets scoops right sometimes. I don't halfway believe him about Larry Kasdan on Ray, though. It seems unbelievable. He's not the only one that said it. That's been said by a few people. Oh, wait, Larry Kasdan. Never mind. I was thinking of the other thing, the other guy. You talking about writing Ray? He hasn't said who's writing Ray. Last thing he said is he didn't know who it was, but it was someone older. An older white dude. That's all he has said about the Ray writer publicly. Travis says, I mentioned... Where am I scanning? Oh, there we go. Fucking chat box. Excuse me. Travis says, I mentioned it before, but having it so Bruce has a hard time becoming Hulk, revealing that the gamma radiation from the snap put his cells into remission, curing of Hulk. Bruce watches his friend struggle, knowing the Hulk is needed, but that if he turns himself again, he loses all the control he had before, reverting him to Savage Hulk. Oh, putting him in a quandary where he has no choice? I mean, I like that. Personally, I like the idea of something happening that just enrages him, rather than him being forced into it. Just one thing makes him snap. And I think that one thing could be happening in Cap 4. We won't see it. We would see his reaction to it later, because he'll probably see it on the news or something. But I think we might get said Savage Hulk inciting incident in Cap 4. I'm not guaranteeing it. I don't know how likely it is. That's just my feeling on the subject. I think you can figure out what it is. Manny says, especially considering Larry quit screenwriting and George Lucas plucked him out of retirement to write the Han Solo movie, then Kathy put him on Force Awakens. The Han Solo movie was Disney Star Wars. That was the one that came out between TLJ and Rise of the Not Skywalker. Brooks says, seeing World War Hulk would be dope. The story is cool. Basically, the Earth is sort of ruined and Hulk reigns supreme. I'm all for it. Kinda. Manny says, other than Dreamcatcher and those two films, well, that might be World War Hulks, yes. Other than Dreamcatcher and those two films, he hasn't written anything since the 1980s to 1990s. Kasdan. Oh, yeah. Griff says, I was under the impression that the rights had reverted back to Marvel. I'm not sure if they are all the way back or not. Let me check. Did I confuse you? Yes. Disney and its subsidiary Marvel Studios finally have the distribution rights to one of the most iconic Avengers, The Incredible Hulk. Okay, so they do have the rights back. They can do what the fuck they want now. Excellent. But even if they didn't, like I said, they offer Universal the right chunk. Universal's going to be like, do what the fuck you want. So either way. Brooks says a World War Hulk film could make at least 500 million USD. Now, are you talking about 500 million worldwide or 500 million domestic? A friend said he was hinting at it, so I guess my friend lied and I have to strangle him. Just kidding. He said Snyder said it. The name came up when Snyder and Roca were talking, and I believe Roca himself brought it up on one of his other shows, the Geek Buddies, but minimum. Oh, okay. I can agree with that totally, Brooke. But yeah, no, you need to strangle him just a little. Well, you know what? Let me do a little Googling here before I go off. I'll look like a dipshit. What are we doing here? Oh, yes. He's talked about it. He made the Disney Plus docuseries Light and or he directed the Disney Plus docuseries Light and Magic. That's from 2018. I can't find who started that shit. But yeah, last I knew, like, last time I saw it brought up on the hot mic, all Snyder said was it's an older white man, but he still didn't have a name. So, who knows? We'll see. But anyway. Like I said, Snyder's speculation is never based on nothing. It's based on experience and generally also based on at least a little tidbit that he's heard from a source he considers at least reasonably reliable, you know? So, is this a guarantee of a World War Hulk movie or some kind of Hulk movie? No. It is not a guarantee. But I would go as far as to say the odds are slowly increasing for that to be one of the so far untitled movies in one of those open slots. Pause. So yeah. Matthew says, when they know you love Star Wars, they pull your leg. I've had enough of that with Disney pulling the rug out from under us. It's not on IMDb. I checked. Stephen Knight is the only mentioned cred. Yeah, because they haven't officially announced his replacement yet. Doesn't mean they don't have one. Doesn't mean he or she is not already working. Just means they haven't announced who it is yet. And according to Snyder, it's another old white dude. Or older. Late middle-aged. That's my presumption. So, yeah. I'm sure Stephen Knight will still have a writing credit on there. Because whoever the new writer is probably going to use at least something that Stephen Knight wrote in some form or fashion. Although, who the fuck knows? They could be doing a whole new script from spec at this point. I mean, it's fucking Lucasfilm. Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. Travis says, Betty Ross is killed by a Red Hulk, and Leader or Sidewinder show up at the funeral and shoot Bruce in the head, making him Hulk out. Something like that would be cool. Well, Ruffalo will not be in this film. So as cool as that sounds, ain't happening. However, I think Betty Ross does... I think what could happen, especially since we've only really seen her in like one time in any of the footage, and that was from like way back. I think she gonna die. And I think the next time we see Ruffalo, which will not be in that movie, it'll be some kind of footage of him seeing that happen on the news, and then that's how I think it's going to go down. That is my own personal theory. Itchy back, itchy back. But either way, I like the fact that there's seems to be a trend of mounting evidence in favor of a Hulk movie of some kind. So I'm all for it. What do you guys think? You down for a Hulk movie or World War Hulks movie or what have you? What are you considering there, Griff? How can they do Planet Hulk when they already did a crap version in Ragnarok? No, this wouldn't be Planet Hulk. This would be World War Hulk. Or Hulks. Because Marvel likes to adapt, not... Or Marvel likes to change some shit up when they do their adaptations. But yeah, they would do World War instead of Planet. Because if I recall correctly, World War Hulk is the immediate sequel to Planet Hulk in the comic. Because the Hulk is coming back pissed. Because his family got blowed up. And that's when we get World Breaker Hulk, the strongest version of Hulk ever to exist. Never read World War Hulk. Must be a new one. I'm not sure how new it is. But I watched Rob's videos on Planet Hulk and World War Hulk, and it's a fucking sick story. God damn it, what am I, out of position here? Yes. Uh, 2007. Came out in 2007. So, you know, somewhat recently. Rob says, I would rather use Hulk to tie mutants into the main timeline using Hulk v. Wolverine as the basis. Well, you can still do that in Secret Wars. Or, knowing Marvel, they could just as easily drop Wolverine into a World War Hulk movie. You could get your Hulk v. Wolverine fight as one of the many. You haven't read Marvel since New X-Men? Okay. Well, the MCU is going to be adapting a lot of more modern Marvel, so you might at least want to watch some of Rob's videos. On the more modern Marvel. Wolverine versus Hulk movie sounds dope. And he says, and I walked away from Spider-Man after one more day. Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, yeah, that was definitely an unpopular story from what I understand. Very unpopular. They undid a lot of shit that people liked. Yeah. Okay. Last bit of news I have this evening. And like I said, this is a tidbit night. It's not anything earth-shattering. But, as you'll all recall, as part of Disney Plus's initial offerings via Marvel, we got a show called Hawkeye. Which, of course, involved Jeremy Renner, but also introduced us to Kate Bishop Hawkeye. And while that was overall a relatively decent show, it did fall prey to the traditional Marvel Disney Plus finale being booty. And, therefore a damper got put on it. However, it's a pretty decent show. And recently, there have been rumors about a Hawkeye Season 2. Some of those rumors suggested a potential plot line involved Clint's psycho brother, whose name escapes me, going after him and Kate Bishop in a siege scenario where it'll all take place in one building. Now, I got to say, on the surface, that sounds pretty fucking cool. I like that scenario. And, but like I said, that's just rumors and stuff. But, the other day, a little bit of evidence came to light out of Marvel, from the lips of Marvel, as it were, that a Hawkeye Season 2 is really quite fucking likely. And I saw, this comes from this comes from Murphy's Multiverse. And I follow Charles Murphy on the TwitX, and he retweeted a tweet that was like, what the fuck? So, it made me want to do the eyeball emoji. So let's see what he has to say. I thought I was going to burp. The title, God damn it, excuse me. The title of his article is Further Evidence Suggests the Second Season of one of Marvel Studios' Best Streaming Shows is on the way. The adjective in front of streaming shows can be debated, but in terms of overall performance, I do believe it was one of the better ones in terms of like viewership and shit. Anyway, Marvel Studios' Hawkeye provided the first deep dive into the MCU's corner of street-level crime, introducing fans to Wilson Fisk and his tracksuit mafia. Despite his best efforts to not get involved, Clint Barton, the avenging Archer, ultimately teamed up with Kate Bishop to take down the tracksuits while Maya Lopez tried to put down the Kingpin, a.k.a. Echo. While Maya's and Fisk's stories continued in Echo, which will lead to Fisk's next appearance in Daredevil Born Again, neither of the Hawkeyes have had any further adventures. However, evidence that may soon change is starting to accumulate. Earlier this year, buzz surrounded a rumor that the studio is moving ahead with a second season of Hawkeye that would see the heroes up against the odds while pinned down in a single location. That's that siege thing I was talking about. That buzz died down until a recent report by Marvel Studios insider Daniel Rickman, who is kind of on the downslide lately, indicated that production on Season 2 of the series was set to start in fall 2025, with an eye on having it ready for streaming as early as 2026. While neither the studio nor trades have addressed the possibility of another season, the recent home media release of Season 1 may have tipped Marvel's hand. This is the tweet that he retweeted from Hawkeye Official from Marvel. It's the most wonderful time of year. Own the complete first season of Hawkeye on 4K Ultra HD with never-before-seen bonus features. While marketing the first season's physical media release, Marvel Studios is referring to Season 1 as the complete first season. While that may seem relatively minor, Disney has marketed other series such as WandaVision and Lucasfilm's Obi-Wan Kenobi, neither of which are expected to have sophomore seasons, as the complete series. While it's certainly not definitive proof that Season 2 of Hawkeye will head into production, it does mean the studio hasn't closed the door on the further adventures of Clint and Kate. Well. Has Marvel tipped their hand? Have they done flubbed? Have they let us know what their plans actually are? And are we in favor of said plans? Potential plans. For me, if the, what the hell? You better fucking give me my chat back, you bitch. Thank you. Motherfucker. Anywho, if the rumors about the plot are true, I am highly down for Hawkeye Season 2. The concept of a siege thing where all the business takes place in one building, and throw in a psycho Barton brother, I'm here for that shit. On paper, I'm fucking here for that shit. I think it's a damn fine idea. And I like the fact that Marvel, intentional or not, you never know, they could be, someone in the PR department could be being sneaky. So, yeah. If this is a giveaway, fucking A. Despite the finale of Hawkeye, Season 1, we might be able to be saying. I did overall enjoy the show. But I think the plot, or the potential plot of potential Season 2 sounds a fuck ton better. And they could still bring Yelena back in. Pew pew. So what do you think? A, do you think this is actually an indication of, or a bit more confirmation that we're getting a Hawkeye Season 2? Do you think someone was just lazy with typing out the tweet? And if this is more confirmation of a Season 2, and assuming the plot rumors are true, how do you feel about it? Is that something you're down for? Let me know, chat. Let me know. Matthew's been recommended a lot of new books. Yeah. Travis says, do you think they're setting up Rick Jones to appear? I could see Cap 4 setting him up to maybe replace Bruce. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up. I don't know about Rick Jones, but I do know that they're looking at casting an Amadeus Cho, or they already have. I think they've got him cast for a voice role, and I think he's going to be making a bit of a cameo in Cap 4. So you can add Amadeus Cho to the potential World War Hulk's roster. So now we're up to 6. Granted, all of them Earth-based except for Maestro, but still. We're talking Hulks now. So I don't know. But yeah, we're I think we're about to be getting some Amadeus Cho. Griff says, almost time for the rewatch. Why? Because it's Christmas? Because it's a Christmas setting and we're in December? Is that why? May says, just on X-Men, I have decades of catch-up to do. Says there are a lot of mediocre and dross books. Wow, I haven't seen or heard anyone use the word dross lately. Nice pull. Got to find the good ones. They can't be all bad. I'm very much a 1990s comic person, which is not fair, but it is what it is. I would say if you do not want to invest the reading time, just get into Rob's videos over at Comics Explained. That's what I would do personally. Brooke says, yeah, Hawkeye ending was not great, but I enjoyed the show for the most part. I would be down for Hawkeye Season 2. I really like Kate Bishop as a character as well. Yeah, she was all right. Matthew says, I haven't seen Season 1. I have a huge backlog just on the Star Wars shows. I will never catch up. Oh, you could catch up. It would just involve dedicating a lot of time to it that you probably don't really want to dedicate is all. Travis says, I think having Matt Damon as Barney Barton, Barney, that's his fucking name, would be a fun Born wink. Also think he would be great as a villain again. I mean, why not? Renner played a tie-in character to Bourne. Why not bring Bourne into Hawkeye? And they are contemporaries. You know, it's not like Matt Damon is too old to be playing Clint Barton's brother. The actors are of an age, I believe. I'm not sure on that, obviously, but, you know. I mean, neither of them look too old, but neither of them look too... They look... Whether they actually, in real life, are of an age, they look like they're of an age, and that's all that would matter for the show. So, yeah, I'm down for that idea. That'd be sweet. I'd be here for that. But yeah, I'm very much in favor of a Hawkeye Season 2. I would like to see what they do with it. Now, if they don't do the Siege thing, I would hope that they would replace it with something on the same intensity level. You know what I mean? I mean, Hawkeye Season 1 was not what you would call intense. Really, at any point. I would love to see that ratcheted up in Season 2. A fair amount. Travis says Matt and Jeremy also kind of look like they could be related. I mean, yeah. A little bit. A little bit. Enough for I think enough for people to buy it in that show anyway. What do you think, Chad? Are you down? Are you down with the prospect of Hawkeye Season 2? Is that something you would actually look forward to? Especially when you consider that Marvel now employs actual TV people to do the Disney Plus shows. Let's not forget, any Disney Plus show that goes into production now is going to be created as, like, by TV people, by TV people that know how to do TV. So when you combine that with that potential plot line, bring on me some Hawkeye Season 2. I'm here for it. And, of course, Haley Steinfeld is hot. Josh Allen knows. Poor Shamik Moore. He never should have put that tweet out. Homie got dragged so badly. He got raked across the coals. He got beaten up. It was bad. He looked like such a simp. He should have just kept his fucking mouth shut. But, yeah. I'm here for Hawkeye Season 2. What about you? Travis says it would be sick if they had Blade appear in Season 2. Somehow tie Blade to Clint's Ronin days. May reveal that Blade trained him to use the sword. That would be interesting. I don't I'm like 99% sure that they wouldn't do that simply because the word on the streets is that they're going to be using Blade kind of as the Nick Fury for the supernatural side of the MCU. So I don't think they're going to tie him too tightly into the, I guess, regular street level stuff. He's going to be busy with supernatural stuff. Or so the plan is allegedly goes. Which honestly I think is a damn fine plan. Making Mahershala Ali the Nick Fury, the supernatural side, leading the Midnight Suns. Ooh, I'm down for that shit. I am down for that shit. For sure. Yeah. Man, I thought of something and then it ran away. I fucking hate that shit. Yeah. Oh well. Alrighty, chat. That is all of my planned subjects. Have you anything on your minds that you wish to discuss that we have not already talked about? But also, if you don't, that's cool. I mean, let's face it. Like I said at the beginning, we're only going to get tidbits till after the new year. Like, news is going to be light. News is going to be slow. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's, now that Skeleton Crew and Creature Commandos are up and running, I'm still going to be streaming like 4 times a week, except for the weeks of Christmas and New Year, because Christmas Day and New Year's Day fall on a Wednesday, and I am not streaming those days. Obviously, I'm not streaming on Christmas because Christmas, and I'm not going to stream on New Year's Day because I plan on getting a little toasty New Year's Eve, and I'm almost 50, and it's going to take me a minute to recover. I'm not going to feel like fucking streaming. So, but yeah, watch parties will still be intact on Tuesdays and Thursdays those weeks. I'll still be streaming on Saturday those weeks. But yeah, outside of those 2 weeks, we got 6 more weeks of Skeleton Crew and 5 more weeks of Creature Commandos. So yeah, we gonna be hanging out in the basement a lot coming up, and you know what? I am fucking happy about it. Mandy says, "Why does everyone want Old Man Blade with Wesley Snipes? Because the third movie sucked." Could be a bit because of that, even though, again, I didn't hate that movie as much as other people did. But mostly because he was awesome in Deadpool and Wolverine, and we want fucking more of that. And because we've had to wait so long for Mahershala Ali's Blade, we've had a taste of Blade for the first time in I don't fucking know how long. So, yeah, that's why. That would be why we want some old man Wesley Snipes Blade. Because outside of Deadpool and Wolverine has been too fucking long. And he was awesomely fun in Deadpool and Wolverine, so why not? I'll take more. Gimme. I'd love to have some Wesley Snipes Blade. Hell, even alongside Mahershala Ali Blade, which we could get in Secret Wars, by the way. And I think we are likely to get in Secret Wars, by the way. And that'll probably also be when we get done with Wesley Snipes' Blade. But on the whole, I think, yeah, people are down. They want a little bit more Wesley before the full handoff to Mahershala happens. Especially since we've been waiting 5 years for Mahershala's. And the fandom in general is probably fucking tired of waiting. So, that's why I think that. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else, chat? Because if not, I'm going to get out of here and watch the UFC prelims. But of course, as always, if you have stuff you wish to discuss, I am here for you. I'm more than happy to discuss stuff. And he says, I thought they were complaining that Blade's daughter is going to take over. You know, the usual suspects who use the W word. Yeah, one of the original scripts was very, how should I put this? Well, when the description of it involves Blade being the fourth lead of his eponymous movie, that's dumb. I'll just put it that way. I don't care who you put ahead of him or what gender they are. If your titular character is the fourth lead, that's just bad fucking writing, and they were good to get rid of that shit. Travis says, imagine they restored that deleted alternate ending for Blade with Morbius, only they bring Jared Leto in and build off of that. In the right hands, of course. That could have been interesting. It would have helped. Well, that would have been cool until like the actual Morbius movie came out and fucked it up. Because even if they'd have done that, I see no reason to think they wouldn't have done the Morbius movie any different from how they did it. And in which case they would have fucked it up hardcore. So I'm kind of glad they deleted that. You gonna dip soon, Brooke? Cool. Have a good night, man. Kind of want to watch or rewatch Blade now. I mean, that's not the worst idea in the world. Definitely not the worst idea in the world. Anything else, chat? I will give you chances. Oh, hell, I can do that. Rise. There we go. Excuse me. Alrighty then. I'm going to get the fuck on out of here then. Nope. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to get on out of here then. You guys have a good night. Nah, it's late. All right. Well, I'm glad we're all on the same page as a community then. That's pretty fucking cool. Even if it is when we all agree to dip the fuck out. Stay spicy. Oh, hell yeah. Thanks, Travis. So, yeah. I had a really good time. I'm glad you guys did too. Like I said, just a reminder, the news is going to be light for the next 3 weeks, y'all. So, but we also have watch parties we're going to be running. And of course, starting next year, we have 6 Marvel shows, 3 live action, 3 animated that we could potentially have watch parties for as well. So we could be spending a lot of motherfucking time in the basement for the next year. And frankly, I'm fucking stoked for it. I am trying. Look, as big as 2025 is going to be in the Nerdverse, I want my 500 fucking subs next year. Like, it's going to be huge. That is my goal. Fuck interim goals. Fuck just, 300, 400, yay. No, 500. I want my 500. I want my 3,000 watch hours. And I want my fucking partnership program. You know? So, going to be a big year next year. We're going to be spending a shit ton of time in the basement between, news streams and watch parties and shit. So, Buckle up, folks. Actually, no. This is a basement thing. Well, yeah, buckle up your bathrobes and get ready to spend a lot of time on the couch hanging out in the basement because we're going to have a lot of nerdy shit to talk about next year. We're going to have a lot of nerdy shit to watch, a lot of nerdy shit to react to, a lot of nerdy shit to talk about. Oh, that's what I fucking forgot. Did y'all see the Invincible trailer dropped? I thought about watching it, but I also think I'm remembering that Prime Video is like massively prickish when it comes to striking shit. So, but I will say this: I thought the trailer was awesome, and if you like Invincible, you should go watch that fucking trailer. Sacha Baron Cohen as MCU Morbius, I could see it. I mean, I don't know. Like Morbius is under the purview of Sony, so they could very easily force Jared Leto on us. So there's that. Oh, you saw it? Yeah, season 3 does look seriously. It looks like they took a step back towards season 1 levels with that, at least with the trailer. For sure. Okay, distracting motherfuckers. So yeah, keep that. We're going to be busy. 4 streams next week. Watch party for Skeleton Crew on Tuesday. Regular stream on Wednesday. Watch party for Creature Commandos on Thursday. Regular stream on Saturday. I hope y'all are excited to be spending a lot of time in the basement. I am. So have a good rest of your weekend and a good good beginning to your week. Be safe out there. Allow me to scratch my neck. And we will see you Tuesday night for the Skeleton Crew a watch party. Until then, be safe. And we'll see you. Oh, yeah, baby. Another nice little nerdy stream. As I said when I was sharing it out amongst the Discord and the Twitter, some nice tidbits for our nerdy brain to snack on. Yeah? Not the longest stream. Not a super short stream. Actually longer than I thought I was going to end up with the tidbitty nature of tonight's news. But as usual, chat, you guys helped to make it awesome. Actually, let me rephrase that. You guys, as usual, did all the heavy lifting to make it awesome. And, you know, we got to hang out for a much more extended period of time than I thought we were going to. And that is always fabulous. So thank you guys for hanging. I appreciate it so fucking much. I love y'all. And we'll see you Tuesday night for episode 3 of Skeleton Crew. But in the meantime, till we get there, be safe, be well, and remember, wherever you're at and whoever you're with, always keep it nerdy. See you Tuesday night. Much love, y'all. Peace.